Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Lewis and here we talk about everything to do with personal finance, growing your money and financial education. And in today's video, I'm going to take you through my budget for December. I do these videos every month so that you can see exactly how much money I've got coming in and where it's being spent on in my world and how I kind of allocate it across the different parts of my budget to hopefully try and help you see how easy it is to budget and how easily you can get control of your money and where your money is being spent. My budget works personally for me with the different things I've got set up in there, and hopefully there's a few things that you'll be able to take from it that can help you budget for your finances as well to help make your money go further. But let's not delay any further. I'm going to pop my budget up on the screen in a second, and we're going to go through all the different bits that I've got coming in and also going out this month for December. Okay, so here is my budget now up on the screen, my budget spreadsheet that I use every month to track my money. So sorry, you'll have to deal with the smaller version of me now in the corner as the budget takes over. But this budget is what I use to track exactly where all of my money is going each month, the money I have coming in, the money I have going out, where I'm spending it, and how it relates to the different areas of finance that I've got in my life. So starting on this front sheet here, you've got my budget overview. So this tab I've summarized in a couple of videos before, so I'll link some of my previous budgets and my explainer video for this budget spreadsheet down below. But this budget overview tab just summarizes exactly where I'm at. We'll come back to this tab because this is almost the last tab we get to once we've inputted all of the information. So we'll come back to that at the end, but this is the tab that I use that has an overview of everything going on in my life. The next tab is the monthly budget tracker. So this is the one we're actually going to spend the most time in today because this one has all of the core information in it for me that I'm going to actually spend this month. So carries my monthly net total income that I've got coming in. We'll go into how that breaks down, what my monthly bills are, savings and investments that we've got down here as well, and a few other pots that just effectively make up exactly how much money I've got coming in and going out this month and where it's being spent on. So yeah, we'll come back to this tab in just a second, but just in case you haven't been here before, an overview of some of the other tabs I've got in here. We're not going to go into these in too much detail today, but just a very quick overview. I've got a savings and investments tab down here, which helps me track my savings and investments that I've got going on each month. I have a pot savings tab, which I'm actually looking to bring this in 2026, so that I can help save money towards individual little things where money might not sit in my emergency fund, but things that I know that I'm going to need to save for, like Christmas, for example. My retirement planner, which is here, which is definitely the most challenging spreadsheet to look at in this video, shall we say. And in my budget spreadsheet, there's a lot of numbers in here, and I have a separate video already, which I will also link down below, that goes into a bit more detail on this tab and exactly how it works. But this tab effectively maps out my plan to be able to retire early. So it is a really important tab, and it's important for me to be able to keep track of where I'm at with my finances. But yeah, that's kind of the main elements that I've got going on in my budget. But yeah, we'll jump back to the monthly budget tracker now, because that's where we will start to go through exactly what money I've got coming in and going out this month. So here is my monthly budget tracker. As you can see, it's for December 2025. So this will outline everything I've got coming in or I've earned over the last month that is going to contribute towards my December budget. And then, as I say, everything that I've got going out. So let's start in the top corner. So we've got the 6 tabs at the top here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They make up my overall financial position for the month of December. So they summarize everything that's going to follow below up into these tabs to give me a snapshot of what my monthly budget is looking like. So we're almost going to come back to them last, because we're going to go through the detail of the individual pots that I've got going on, and then we'll come back to those numbers at the top there. So if we just scroll down a little bit down here, so we've got my monthly net total income, and in this box here, so I'll just highlight it for you. In this box here, we've got everything covered that I've got coming in for the month of December. So this is everything that I'm going to be able to spend this month to help me do what I need to do. So we've got my salary that comes in at the top here. So that's $3,079. So for context, so people know background when you're watching this video, what my background is. So I work in marketing in the sports industry in the London region. I'm a marketing manager. So yeah, that's my salary that I've got coming in for my job. So if you multiply that out, and if you're quick with maths will know that works out just over £50,000 a year that I've got coming in for my job. And then other incomes I've got separate lines here for all the other ways that I could possibly, that I know of at the moment, earn income into my account that I could be spending every month. So I've got Fiverr, which is an online platform where you can be recruited to do individual bits of work for somebody. Normally it's things like creative writing, creating spreadsheets, designing something. Fiverr's really good for that kind of like digital world of hiring somebody to do something that you need doing but might not have the time to do it. Airtasker, totally opposite end of the scale. Certainly in the way that I use Airtasker, that is a job or a platform, sorry, that connects people again with other people that need jobs doing. These jobs tend to be more like manual labor jobs, like mowing lawns, building flat pack furniture. That's certainly the way that I do it and how I earn money out of that. So I only did one job this month for Airtasker, so just earned a very small amount of money off that. November was a busy month for me, so I bring forward anything I earn in November into, or the month before, into this month's budget. So that £40 is money that I earn in November that I will be spending in December. So that's Airtasker. Etsy, I put this on here pretty more of a manifesting thing more than anything really. I haven't got this set up yet, but my hope is to, in the future, be able to maybe sell this budget spreadsheet, maybe sell some other digital products through Etsy. So that's something I've put on there almost as a reminder to me that I need to get that up and started, probably in 2026 in particular. Rover is a platform that me and my wife also use. And it allows us to, or allows people locally to us that need their animals looking after, to connect with us and go and look after their animals when they go away on holiday or things like that. So we have a profile that we use on there for that. It's a great app. If you love animals, it's a really great app. So yeah, go and check that out. I've done another video on all of those side hustle type platforms, how I use them, how I make money off of them. So I'll link that down in the description and make sure you go and check that video out as well. And then the last one I've got in this category is my leftover balance, which is at the bottom here. So that's any money I had left from last month that I'm bringing forwards into this month. That's how I like to account for it, because then it helps me when sort out my savings, emergency funds, investments, all of those sorts of things. So that's the money that in total I brought forward from last month. And in total, that box there brings me to £3,329. That is how much money that I've got to spend this month on all of the things that I need to spend it on. So the next category we have, and this is where the outgoings start. Boo, I know, this is where the money starts going back down again. We've had the high of how much money we've got coming in. Now the money's going to start heading back out again. So we've got my bills tab here. So I'll just highlight that for you again. There's the bills tab. So that's how much money that I've got going out for my essential bills effectively this month. So what this covers is my mortgage, gas and electric, Wi-Fi, phone bill, TV license. I have a little slush fund that me and my wife have that's at the bottom there, because that helps just fund any other house expenditure that might come up that we're not expecting, or bill that we might get if we need to top up the gas and electricity bill, or the water bill is slightly higher than we expected. That's covered. We just put an extra £20 a month into our bills account. All of this money in here leaves my account every month and goes to a separate bills account that me and my wife have set up that pays off all of our bills that go out. So all of this stuff adds up to the bills that I have every month. So as you can see there, £984.14 for me for this month. Largely these numbers don't change too much. They're normally pretty fixed. It's, normally if maybe gas prices fluctuate in the winter, I'm sure you are as well versed in that as what I am, and you get quite a lot of fluctuation in gas prices in the UK. Phone bill, if you spend over on your phone bill or anything like that for any reason, but very rare that it changes too significantly that causes a big kind of impact on the system. And then next up we have my repeat payments. So this is the next section of my budget, so I'll highlight that for you here as well. So in my repeat payments and subscription section, does what it says on the tin really. These are all the continuous payments that I have going out for the month. Like, I'm sure you have lots of subscriptions as well that you pay for, particularly TV related subscriptions and things like that. So you see Netflix, Amazon on there. I've got an Apple subscription, a Runner direct debit. I use the app Runner for some running that I do. And then I've got a direct debit that goes to my niece every month as well. So yeah, there's just a few things in there that are continuous payments that come out every single month that I've got set up. So you can see at the bottom there comes to $38.99. And then we scroll down a little bit further. We then go on to the food section of my budget. So in here, I've got mapped out everything that I'm going to spend on weekly shops every month, as well as lunches that I may have when I go into work. I go into work a few days, 2-3 days a week normally, so this just maps out what lunches I'm going to buy when I'm there. I try and take food, leftover food from night before and stuff as well, to try and keep control of those costs. But here's a amount allocated just for lunches, and then I have a food emergency fund in there as well. You can see that one just there. I have a food emergency fund just allocated in case anything, again, any extra cost comes in that I'm not expecting, or we host somebody that we weren't initially planning to at the start of the month. That's what that budget is there for as well. Then we come across to the insurances, travel section. So in here, I cover any insurance policies I've got. So you can see that home insurance, cat insurance is in there. Car insurance not in there. I actually pay my car insurance annually, so that you'll see on my pots tab when I go into it, probably not in today's video, but in future budgeting videos, when I go into my pots tab, you'll see that I've got one for car insurance. So on there, I save monthly throughout the year, so that then when I buy my car insurance, I can pay for it as a lump sum out front. But then a few other insurances you can see here. I've also got my fuel, so this is fuel that I need in my car to go to and from work. Any other errands, things like that, I do throughout the month. Actually, it's filming, obviously, month of December. We're off to my dad's for Christmas, so he lives all the way over the other side of the country. So that would be a big trip for us, fuel-wise, in the car. So just allocating for that. And any train travels, the other one probably to highlight in here. So any times I need to go into central London for anything specific, work-related or social-related, I've just got a allocation there for trains as well for this month. Then we've got pet section, so we just have the one pet, our cat, who we have here. So yeah, this is just the stuff associated to him for the month that we budget for. So his various different food bits and pieces, his dry food and wet food that we've got there, and then yeah, a few other bits in there. So that brings a total at the bottom there, you can see, of 60.22 for the costs associated for him each month. And then some of the big ones at the bottom here, particularly these two that we're going to cover down here. So you've got the debt payments one, which I've highlighted for you there. So just stopping on this one in a bit more detail. So I've been in particular, and if you'll have watched the very first budget video that I did last month as part of this series, you'll see that I've been paying down debt quite heavily. We were very lucky, me and my wife, we got married this year, and then for anyone that's got married recently knows that there's quite a lot of debt that normally comes associated to that, so you end up spending quite a lot of money. Staying on a budget for a wedding is borderline impossible, I would say. So yeah, there was a bit of extra cost, I think it's fair to say, that we carried there. Also some cost for our honeymoon as well. So we had some credit cards that we used to help pay for some of those things in the short term, and then we've been paying those down heavily. I've done lots of other content already on the importance of paying down high interest debt and how much of a difference that can make on your financials going forwards, and you being able to improve your finances, grow your wealth, all those things. Paying down high interest debt is one of the first things that you should be considering doing. That is exactly what I've been doing here. So I've been paying down, there's two separate things in here. My credit card is the one that's highlighted first of all there, you can see. So that is the one that had the wedding stuff on. So I've been paying that down really heavily. I'm delighted to say that that payment there is actually the last payment on my credit card. So as of this point, filming this video, my credit card is completely clear for all our wedding stuff. So absolutely delighted to have done that. And the feeling of that is really good. So that's why I'd encourage you, if you're watching this video and you do have high interest debt that you're carrying at the moment, really focus on getting that paid down, because the feeling when it's paid off is really good, because I know that every month now I'm not going to have to be putting money towards that really substantial pot that I have been paying down. And then I've got a loan here as well, but it's sort of a loan but not a loan. I borrowed some money off my wife to help pay off a loan I had on my car, so because it was quite a high interest loan, so she had some money available that allowed us to do that, so we could pay that loan off on my car, and then I'm paying her back at the moment for that. So that's nearly paid off as well. You'll see on my front sheet that I don't have too much debt left to pay off on that, so that will all be paid off this year. And then a couple of other categories, none of which we've got anything in. I've got guilty pleasure of mine. I collect Pokemon cards, tradable trading cards, sealed Pokemon products, all these sorts of things. I'm really a massive collector. So every month, normally I buy something that sort of goes into my collection. So I'd already paid for something here up front, so knew that I just needed to get it paid off. So that's what that's allocated for there. And then, yeah, that brings together my total at the bottom. So that's how much I'm paying off from debt-related stuff this month, which again is a good payment. It's actually much lower than it has been in the past. So really happy to see that number coming down. And next month, I obviously won't have the credit card payment to make, the big credit card payment to make as well. So that will only start looking even better. And then moving over here, we've got my investment and savings. So this is the other really important one that I have, that is, yeah, the one I spend the most time thinking about really every month, and how I'm going to allocate my money here. So I have a standard ISA that I have set up, that I have with Trading 212, and that has in it a portfolio of ETFs effectively that I have pulled together that I think match my personal risk level and personal preferences, and I invest a small amount of money into that every month. So there's £100 a month that I've got going into there. Separately, I also have a pension, a workplace pension. So there's a good chunk of money I have come out of my salary before it even hits this spreadsheet that also goes into my pension as well. So I almost consider that number there going into the stocks and shares ISA as a top up on the money that's going into my pension. It's all going towards me being able to retire early effectively. That's the plan with it. I have a platform called Chip. Some of you may have heard of Chip, some of you may not have. For background, it's effectively a digital bank now. Really, is how Chip operates. Kind of changed a lot over the years, but I use it. It's really good for its goals feature. It allows you to set up a goal on there for something you're saving towards. So Christmas presents, car insurance. It just allows you to keep track of where you're at, and what it does is automatically takes money out of your account every month based on your spending habits. So when it thinks you can afford to spend or spare £15, it takes it out and it puts it into this little savings pot. Some months it takes lots, sometimes it doesn't take so much, depends on what your spending habits are. So it's a really good app. It helps me sort of hit goals that I have on the side, and then the money maths thing takes over, where you then take that money out and pay for something and you feel like you've got it for free. You haven't, obviously. It's money that's come out of your account. I know that logic doesn't stand up, and I'll probably get some hate in the comments for it. But the reason I do it is because it just makes it feel like you've got an expense covered that doesn't have a big impact on your finances. So yeah, I use it for that. So definitely check it out if it's not something you've looked at before. And then my emergency fund. Again, I'm not going to spend too much on this because I have done a separate video on emergency fund as well. But emergency fund is something I'm saving quite heavily towards at the moment, with the goal of having 3 to 6 months savings saved up in my account, so that I can cover any drastic or big bills, expenses that I have come in, or if I were to lose my job or anything like that. I've got a pot of money that allows me to be able to cover that time period while I might be face some financial headwinds. So that's what that's there for. I'm saving big into that at the moment because I've got a new goal of getting my emergency fund up to sort of £7,500. That's kind of what I'm aiming for, because that will be somewhere around 5 months for me, 4 or 5 months for me, which I think will put me in a good spot. So that's what I'm saving towards at the moment. For context, I'm currently on just over, well, before putting this money in, I was on just over £4,000. So you'll see this crop up quite a lot in my budget going forwards. Hopefully you like this video. If you do, it's probably a good time to interject. If you do like this video, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this actual video, and do drop a comment on how you feel about this budgeting process. You've got any ways that you budget yourself as well, because I love to hear other ways of how people budget. We can all learn from each other and help other people in the comments. Anyone else that's watching this video that doesn't know how to get started, we can all kind of help, because we're all trying to do the same thing here really and get control of our money. So yeah, do make sure you like the video, and yeah, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content, because there will be lots more budgeting videos going forwards. I'll be doing one every month, as well as an investment once a month series as well, which will be coming up shortly. But yeah, that's the money I'm putting into my emergency fund. And then this tab on the end here, the final one, this is my fun money. This is the money that I spend on me every single month. And this one works slightly differently to how the rest of the pots work. So you'll see that in here I've gone through and I've put assigned money to all of the different areas that I know that I need to spend money for, and then at the bottom it gives me a total, and then we will square that total off, which I'll do in a moment, and I'll show you how I do that, but square it off at the bottom. Whereas in this tab, this money's there for me to go into. It's there for me to be able to go and have fun. It's there for me to just be able to spend whenever I want to spend it on the things I want to spend it on, as long as I keep track of what I'm spending on. So in here instead, what we do is put in a budget at the bottom of how much I want to be able to spend this month. I list in here any things that I know that I'm definitely going to be doing this month to make sure they're covered. But then I put a budget at the bottom of what I feel would be a comfortable amount of money for me to do the things that I need to do, have a little bit left over to do some things that I might not have come up yet. So as you can see, I've put a budget of £400 in there, and that's what that relates to. So the next thing to do once we've done this is my budget now. That's everywhere that I see my money going out every month. The next thing to do is go through, and you can see the totals here. So we'll start with this one down here. You've got the totals of my investments and savings. So I need to square that off because that's what my budget needs to be, because that's what I'm going to be doing this month. So I put the same number from the top in the bottom there, and that squares it off. If I were to put a number in there that is different, so let me do that now, you will see that it changes color depending on whether it's positive or whether it's negative. So the idea is that the total matches the budget, so then it's squared off completely. If anything then changes in here, you'll see it then go from green to red based on if I'm overspent or underspent. So we'll square that one off here. We'll square off the debt payments as well. So let's square off that one there. Then we will go up here. We will square off the pets one, put that in there. Square off the insurances one, so put that number in there. The food budget as well, let's square that one off and put that in there. And then this row up here, subscriptions and repeat payments, let's put that number in there. And then bills, the last one, let's put that number in there as well. So what this is now going to do, now I've squared all of these off, is it's going to pull these numbers up into those top 6 cells that I said about at the top, and it's going to tell me how I'm doing with my money each month. So if we now scroll up, it will tell me how much money I've got left, if I'm over budgeted, under budgeted, etc., which is then will help me decide what changes I need to make. So if we now scroll up, and then I'll just highlight, because this is the section we're now going to be focusing on at the top here. So as you can see, we've got my monthly net total income over here, which we said about at the start. So this section matches this section down here. This is how much money I'm going to be spending on bills this month. This is how much money I'm going to be spending on debt payments this month. This is how much money is going into my savings and investments. And then this is the allowance that I put in. As you can see, the £400 there as well. That's the allowance I put in. And this, which is good news, tells me how much money I've got left. So with all of those things mapped out and everything I know that I need to do, I've actually still got £182.74 left, which is great news. Now, this is where I differ from other content creators in that I don't really feel the need to allocate that money. A lot of people say allocate everything that you've got, allocate every single pound, and I understand why people do that. For me, I like to keep a little amount in there of somewhere normally between £100 and £150. But for the purpose of £32, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to leave that as it is. I like to allocate that. I like to leave that money unallocated just in case anything pops up really short term that I need to pay for, that really my emergency fund's not earmarked for, or if one of my pots on my pots tab, I've not fully got to the money that I need to get to, but say, I'm saving, one of my pots is for the dentist, for example. Let's say I crack a tooth at some point and I've actually only got half of the amount of money I need in there. I can take money I know from this left to allocate tab, put it into there as an emergency and help pay that without having to impact my emergency fund. So that's why I leave some of my money unallocated each month. So yeah, that gives a picture of where I'm at, which is good. I'm always happy to see that number come out, this number over here come out as a positive. So yeah, that's really, really good, and means that I know that I can afford to do the things that I need to do this month. And then just quickly to round off the video, I've just gone back to the budget overview tab now as well, just so you can see how that works. So these same tabs here at the top are exactly the same as the tabs that were on the monthly budget tracker a moment ago. They're all exactly the same, so nothing really to cover there. But if we just scroll down a little bit, you can see these two pie charts that I've got going on here. So this pie chart here on the left that I'm circling around now, that shows me the split of my money, what sort of areas it's going to each month. So I always try and work off of roughly the 50, 30, 20 kind of approach, the 50 being the essential costs, the 30 being sort of savings, investments. I'd kind of include debt some debt payment stuff in there as well for that. And then the 20% being able to spend money on what I want to spend it on. So as you can see, I'm sort of semi in the right place at the moment. Maybe it's a little bit light on the personal expenditure, which is this 12% here, because I'm trying to pay down my debt quite heavily. But you can see I'm on nearly 50% for my bills. I've got, what's that, 35-ish percent, 36% there going towards debt payments, savings and investments, 12% going towards spending money on myself, and then I've got the 5% up there, which is actually the leftover money. So you could arguably pull that into the personal expenditure if I were to go on and spend it all, and actually that's like 17%. So I'm not far off, which is great. This is the first month I've actually had this. I'm not far off my 50-30-20 goal for how I split my money. And then the other graph just over here on this side is my debt tracker. So that's just explaining how much money I've currently got left to pay off for my debt. And if I actually scroll down a little bit further, you can see the numbers that are allocated for that. So here's my outstanding debt that I've still got left to pay off. Here is the debt that I have paid off already, which is great news. And then also you can see my emergency fund I mentioned earlier on in the video. That's how much I've got going on there. So yeah, a quarter of my debt left to go, which is great news. I'm really happy with kind of where that's at and how that's progressing. And there you have it. That is my budget for the month of December, showing how much money I've got coming in and where my money is going. Hopefully you found that useful to be able to see like what I have going on, and hopefully you can apply some of the bits in there possibly to your own budget, your own financial situation, to just help steer you in the right direction and help you move towards that better financial future that I'm certainly aiming for, and being able to retire early, and whatever your future goals are, hopefully by applying a few of these things, it will help steer you in that direction. As I say, I'm going to do one of these videos every month. So if you do enjoy this content and you enjoy seeing where my money's going, please make sure you give this video a like or drop a comment down below just saying that, because it helps fuel me on to produce more of this content. It helps me know that you guys like it and like seeing where my money's going. And then, yeah, I will keep producing these once a month just to show what my budget's doing. But other than that, that's it for today's video. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.